Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me here on my page, Janelle Stevens Real Estate. I am so happy that you've decided to be here, and I hope you decide to share this with others. And I hope, again, that the information is of value to you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Janelle Stevens, and I'm a real estate agent with Caldwell Banker. My office is in Canton. And what I tell people is I work within an hour of my office or my home, which is in Randolph. Um, and so I'm available if you ever need me. Um, when I first started doing real estate, I was so excited about all the information that was provided, and I was mostly working with buyers. So I put a brochure together and I did some classes and everything like that. And then I decided, you know what? It is important for me to also do this for my sellers because there's so much information. And the largest investment that you're going to make as a seller is selling your home. It's a lot of money, a lot of terms, a lot of financial accrements and figures that you don't normally deal with, and a lot of stress, a lot of marketing issues, and all of that stuff. So I decided I wanted to put this book together, Selling Secrets You Can't Afford to Miss, so that I can share those information with you, just like I did for my buyers. A little bit about me. I started my career as an engineer. I did that for 3.5 years with Verizon, and then I became a technical supervisor for 16 years. They laid me off, and I tell people all the time, I said, wish they had done it sooner. I'd always wanted to be a real estate agent. And once I became a real estate agent, I absolutely love what I was doing. And I love being able to help people. I love going into homes and, just, doing what I can to make the process as easy and as simple for my clients. And throughout the years, I've gained a lot of experience. And my job is when I'm working with any seller is to make this process easier and simpler for you. And this book goes through a lot of steps. My goal is to help you have the best possible home selling experience. By that, I mean, I want you to get the most amount of money in the least amount of time with your house on the market and avoid the headaches that are normally associated with the home selling process. The way I do this and in this book, you just think of this book as a gift, right? Because in this book, I'm going to be reviewing secret strategies that I use to sell your home for more money. I'm going to be talking about marketing techniques employed by myself and top agents. And I'm going to be giving you advice on how to find the right buyer and how to appeal to the right buyer. And we're going to be going through just a total overview. What is the sale process? Where do you start? How do you end? And who is involved in the whole process? There's a lot of real estate partners that you deal with. And I just want to make sure that there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be filled out. So I want to make sure that that whole process is that you understand. When we're going through getting your house ready and all of that stuff, I want to make sure that any upgrades that you're doing so with the return on investment in mind. I've had clients that decided, oh, I'm not going to call you until I do all of this work. And then I go in and I'm like, you really didn't need to do that. My job is to make sure you get the best return on your investment with the least amount of work, right? So you got to think about your return on investment. Like, should I spend that money on painting or should I spend that money upgrading the kitchen? Are you going to get a return on your value? So one of the things that I always say is just make sure the house is clean. The smallest thing, the house is painted, your curb appeal. I'm going into details, but those are the tips I give you about making sure that your home is, whatever investment that you make in your home or any upgrades, that we do so with the return on investment in mind. I also give you tips about negotiating with the buyers, or to make sure that you're getting the best value. Like, there's different steps in the process that you got to negotiate. You got to negotiate with the offer. You got to negotiate after the inspection. You got to negotiate after the appraisal. There's so many different steps that's involved. So I talk to you about the negotiation process and I give you tips. And then there's so much more that I give you, right, in this book. And I'm just hoping that you find the value. First steps in selling your home, I want to, that I'll talk to you about is just understanding your location. A lot of times, someone will say to you, so, I talk about generally just introducing you to the process and the techniques that I'll give you and the goals that I have in mind for you. But I also wanted to start talking about the first steps to selling your home. First steps to selling your home that I want you to consider is your location. A lot of times when you're selling your home, a lot of people will say, oh, the house, maybe a couple of blocks down the street sold for a lot more. Is that house in the same town? So sometimes that makes a difference. I know I live in Randolph, and the Randolph Braintree line is right there. And there are times when the same style house could sell for more in Braintree than in Randolph. You got to take all of that stuff into consideration. Are you on a main street as opposed to like a neighborhood feel? So location is important. And those are some of the things that as an agent, we know what to look for and how to help you. We can't change the location, but we know how to help you to appeal. I would also talk to you about pricing. Pricing is so important because if you price the house too high, you're going to be following the market because nobody is going to be, buyers are just as, smart and everything like that. They are looking at everything. They're doing their homework. They're working with, educated real estate agent who's helping them to do their homework. So they're not going to really overpay for a house unless it has sentimental value or if it's in a neighborhood that they really, really want or something like that. So you got to make sure you price it right so you get the value. If you price it too low, they're going to be like, what's wrong with the house? So you got to price it just right. And what we do is we work with you to get that price. Sometimes I'll ask my client, what is it that you're looking for? And, the reason I ask that up front is because I want you to know when I give you a price, if it doesn't add up to what you're looking for, I will explain to you. I had one client that was looking for less and she was so happy that I gave her more. I had another client that wanted way more. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't take that deal. And here's why. I don't just tell you I can't take that deal. I say, here's why. And if we can have a meeting of the mind, then I can list your home. Because if you want 900,000 and I'm looking at the things and it's saying 750, I can probably meet you halfway at 800 or something like that in the middle. Because I'm like, okay, we can maybe try to see if we can, get you to 800. But if you're at 9 and I see there's no way that I don't, based on the comps, because the comps are important. We're going to talk about that as well, but very much important. Then the price, that's where the price is very important. You got to understand the value of your home and the value to the buyers. You have to understand the appraised value because even if you get a buyer that says, oh, I'll pay $900 for it. If they're paying cash, no problem. But if they have to get a loan, that house also has to be appraised. And if the bank does not appraise it at the 900, guess what? You are not getting that. They're not getting that loan. So that's another thing that I tell my sellers. Don't get attached to the price until the appraised value comes through and we are able to get past that. One of the things that I do is I do comps right up front. So I give my seller a realistic expectation of what they should get for price. And if an appraised value comes back too low, I've had to do it only twice in my career. I'm ready to fight for my clients. I will fight. And each time they have increased the price that I had to fight for it because I was able to present them and say, hey, this price that you're telling me for my client's home is not what it is. And here are the comps. And they have to take that into consideration. So I'm ready to fight for you if the appraised value comes back too low. But again, you have to make sure that you understand appraised value and all of that stuff, right? So that's all I'm going to go through today. I don't want to go past 10 minutes. If you have any questions, I feel like I was just talking at you today. And I'm going to, try to see if I could set this up in a way that you can ask questions. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is, here's what I'll offer you. Any questions that are out there for the next 3 days, I am going to personally answer all of your questions. So any questions that you have, actually, I'm going to go in and try to answer all of your questions. So any questions that you have, please ask them, and I'll be glad to get back to you as soon as I can. Anything that you'd like to hear more about, if I don't already have it on my list, I will be sure to add it to my list if you think it's important to you. So take care and have a wonderful evening. Good night.